Thanks for sticking around during the ads. Please feel free to click on the icons shown to be taken to areas where you can help us. All links will be below for mobile and other users.
Hello everybody, my name is Craig Bennett and I'm the founder and owner of TechViews and Help, and today we are continuing the Beekeepers Tool Android application tutorial. In this Android application tutorial, Android development application tutorial, we're going to cover permissions. Now this is a very important topic for whenever you're making your Android application. The reason for this is in order to get the application to do certain things, then you need to have permissions. This is mostly meant for security, and that way you're not having access to things that you shouldn't have, and others shouldn't have access to things that they shouldn't have. So there's two things to keep in mind. There's first is requesting permissions, then the next is requiring permissions. And the important thing to note is at this point, if you are needing to deal with permissions at all on testing, on emulators and stuff, some really that's not there. So you really do need to have the actual physical device and if you want to test this one out. Unfortunately, I don't know if Gemotion allows this or not. They might. But for the most part, some application or some emulators, if not all, they can't test this. So you need to have the physical device in hand to really test the permissions and if you got it right. Now let's start on the requesting permissions within the manifest. What we want to do is type out the user permissions. And on Android Studios, you get this. On Eclipse, you won't. So you got to type everything out on Eclipse. It's kind of why I'm leaning to Android Studios. On top of that, seems like Google is really pushing for that, especially now that their developer page, I think they got rid of Eclipse from their developer page. But anyways, so with this, you can see your most recently used permissions, where I was just fooling around with it. But this has a full list of permissions. Now, if you don't know what that you want as far as what exactly it's called, just start typing out what you think it's called. So, for example, with this, I want to do NFC. So I will just type out NFC, and there you go. Now, you might have missed it, but there's a few parts in there that we need to cover. Let's close this one out. Start one. So on the right side, what you will see is added in API level. This API level, whatever the number might be, that is the number that your Android app needs to meet at minimum for that given permission. Obviously, you want to have your Android application at minimum towards the highest permission that you have. In fact, this is really how many developers figure out how wide they're going to spread their application. Yes, it's nice to have an application that runs like is meant for Android 5.0, but there's hardly any devices for it. But even more so, unless if you're going to use the new feature that came out that's only available to that API level, then chances are you really need to knock down your API level to allow more devices to use your stuff. Because the simple fact is there's no reason why it's not. Now, obviously over time, you're probably going to have to need to raise it. So with this in mind, we have our API level. Then below here we have information about this permission and what it's about. And we can close that off. So what is this doing right now? Basically, whenever someone downloads this, this is going to ask the user if they're okay with giving this permission. So this is not going to ask them each and every time they open up the app, every time they use the function. It's going to ask them specifically when they install the application, or in this case, now that we already have it on the marketplace, when they update from their old permissions where we didn't have any to these. Whenever you change permissions, and if someone's has which should be by default, where the applications will automatically update by itself in the background, if there is no changes in the permission at all, then the apps will update by itself, no problem. Once there is a change, so for example, where we're adding NFC, we're adding camera, I might take away the camera because I really don't know too many uses I can gain out of that through this application. But either case, it'll show up and say, are you okay with this application using these things? Most people don't read it, but still, it's very necessary. It's very necessary for you to start reading it if you haven't already. I know it's cumbersome, but unfortunately, that's pretty much all we got right now. Now, with that in mind, this is a good way to figure out what an application needs and everything. And there is ways, while you do need to okay it when you're installing it from Marketplace, there is ways to figure out what permissions the application requires by going through the phone's menus. Each phone has a different type of menu system, so unfortunately I can't show you, but it's usually within the settings in the application tab. And one other thing I want to add in here real quick is this is a similar function that is on iOS, and in fact I think it's a similar function that's on many operating systems out there. Now let's get into requiring permissions, or known as implementing inbound security. Now the reason why you want to do this purely is really to secure the user's information. So say for example, if you're making a game and you want to share that information with several other applications, the score and stuff like that, then you might want to be able to allow other applications to also take the score or whatever the user got, and if it's sensitive information, so say for example if you're making an application for a company and it's sensitive information, legal or whatever, then you obviously want to have that stuff secured. And this is a way to make sure other applications don't just grab it out of the middle of nowhere and they have to follow through several specific rules. So let's just write out real quick, which I don't think I'm going to keep. Just start with the permissions. And then let's go down one more. Android label. And Android description. And close it out. So for the name, what you need to do is put a link towards what you want to share. So normally what you would end up doing is just putting your this portion, in fact, so you can copy and paste that and there. And what this does is it keeps from any conflicts from rising. And then let's say for example I want to do scores, like it's a gaming. Again, this really won't be used in this particular application. Now as far as this area, you can use strings, but this is something for the user to see. So scores, blah blah blah, it really doesn't matter. I mean, this is going to be taken out. And this portion won't be in the GitHub. So yeah. But anyways, what you need to do is enforce it now. So let's go to this area and Android permissions. And what we want to put in there is what we typed up here. I think I just copy and paste it and make sure that you put that where it's going to be launched. Just notice that in it. But anyways, that's pretty much what you need to do. And what that's going to do is it's going to enforce. There's a second way to do it, but I think that's probably the easiest. Now, as far as things goes, there is a separate part which I'm going to leave on another video, which is use features. This is a very important part, but because there's really no tutorials at all for that. Specifically, what I'm talking about is this intro name and that. So it looks something like this. And basically what this feature does, I'll get into it in another video, my next video. And it's going to be very, very short because all we're going to be doing is covering this one. But basically, this will cover how to make sure that if a phone doesn't have a given feature, so say for example, if you're making a camera application and the phone doesn't even have a camera, then how to make it where the application knows it shouldn't be run on this phone, and inadvertently the marketplace will avoid showing the application to certain phones. Plus, on top of that, we can get it to say that it will have these features. So say for example, for the Beekeeper application, we will like for the person to have NFC, but in reality, if they don't have it, they can use a thing just fine. I'm going to also show you how to deal with that. That's a very, very important thing when you're talking about hardware specifically, like Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, camera, NFC, stuff of that nature. And that way you can get the most out of your application. But anyways, as far as things goes, let's end this right here and pick it up in a second or two, and you probably will see the next part of it tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that. It's about 7 a.m. Eastern Standard. And yeah, but anyways, if you do have any questions or anything, then leave a comment below, and I'll try. Want to add anything into this, go ahead and leave that down below also, and I'll try to add something into that. Now, if you didn't like something or whatever, then go ahead and leave a dislike and tell me why, so I can fix it in future videos. But again, if you got any questions, comments, want to cover anything else in the future, you know where to get me. My name is Crib Bent. I'm the founder and owner of TechViews Help, and hopefully you guys are having a great day.